Hello everybody, welcome to a very sombre, disappointed, gutted Conor here. I don't want you lot going on the bandwagon that, oh, he's been over dramatic, it's the end of the season, there's still loads of points to go. The reason you clicked on this video is because it's a match review. We are reviewing the match, that is the point. It's not been cataclysmic, although I do think this has big implications on the season. It's not being way too overreactive. We are reacting to a match that masses of Leeds fans have gone to, and Leeds just couldn't be arsed. Couldn't be bothered today. Not the same performance levels as last week. You got to give credit to Birmingham for that. Once again, slow start, awful start. Once again, Birmingham took control of the game. The midfield was being completely overrun throughout the entire game. Nothing changed really, which I found bizarre. Nothing changed. The midfield was being completely overrun. I'd probably say for the 90 minutes, I thought, I don't understand what was happening at the start with Phillips. I don't know if he was playing in a back three. I don't really understand why he was playing in a back three, to be honest. I don't know where that came from. He was playing in a back three, and Leeds were just at sea. They were coming forward a couple of times, and they looked dangerous. I've said the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I think our defence looked shaky. I really do, on the ball. And susceptible when players are running at them, 100%. It's happened. It happened last week, it happened the week before, and it's happened this week as well. I do think we're a little bit susceptible when players are running at our defence. They've been brilliant all season, but let's be real. Today, every time Che Adams ran at them, they looked shaky. Every single time. They didn't offer Kiko any sufficient backup. They didn't offer him a solid defence in front that was going to protect him from the strikers, which is what the back four should do. Kiko was completely exposed. I thought he was excellent today, Kiko Casilla. Kept us in the game. Kept us in that game. And that first half was, once again, another shocking one to add to the list of poor first halves this season. Yeah, and as I say, guys, if you're clicking on this and you're expecting me to just turn around and just be like, well, you know, we've still got a long way to go. As I've said, it's a match review, so we're reviewing the match. As we thought they might, Sheffield United kind of got the score draw. They sort of got the win at Preston. I watched it, and defensively astute, keeping Preston out, but they did really well to lock it out. I've sort of had it on 2 screens. I wasn't able to get to the game today for work reasons, like I know a lot of you couldn't today. But, you know, thousands and thousands of Leeds embarked on the Midlands, and I was really disappointed. It's the first time this season where I'm going to turn around and call the players out. I thought there was a lack of effort. There was a lack of dynamism, as I always go on about, pragmatism. There was no effort there. I didn't feel there was enough there for me today. I thought Birmingham, to every man, they were putting in 11 out of 10 performances. I don't feel Leeds did that today. I thought we turned up and we thought we'd won the game already. I thought we had an air of cockiness, which, you know, that's a good thing. I like having an air of cockiness, an air of arrogance. We need that. You need that to go up. But for God's sake, when we need to when it's 0-0 and we're showing this sort of arrogance, we're pushing the fullbacks way too far up and getting exposed every time they come forward, overrunning midfield so easily. You can't show that air of arrogance when it's 0-0. You can't, and Leeds continuously kept doing it. And it bit us on the arse eventually, you know, Che Adams scoring that goal. And I thought he was a threat throughout. You know, the last 5 games he's not scored. I was speaking to Brummy Joe about it. And, you know, he's not scored. He's not been that much of a threat. You know, you look at the teams they've played Millwall, they've played Preston, they've played Hull. He's not scored a goal. Comes up against us, and he could have had 2. He could have had a hat-trick today if it wasn't for Kiko Casilla. That has to improve. It has to improve when you play teams like QPR, who haven't won in 16 games, and the 1 game they've won is against Leeds. That's not good enough. Have Stoke won since they played Leeds? They didn't win before playing Leeds. They went into the match with no sort of expectation. They played Leeds, got the win. Birmingham, 5 losses on the trot. Played Leeds, won. We're sort of a token for teams who are in bad form, and it's got to improve. It's not good enough. If we want to get promoted, we have to start ironing out these sort of indeficiencies in our performances. It's too inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? That's obviously the Sheffield United game where we could have turned it into a 5-point gap, and today once again where we could have turned it into a 5-point gap. Obviously we wouldn't have done because Sheffield United didn't win, but I just thought we went into that game with just not enough. The mentality wasn't there, and we've seen it before with Leeds this season where it's sloppy passing, it's slack. And we've seen it a fair few times this season, do you know what I mean? And then the second half, Leeds have come out fighting, and we didn't do that. The first half were once again slack, which I dare say 60-65% of performances all throughout the season we've been slack in the first half and brought it back in the second half, hence why we're scoring so many goals in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Why can't we just start games like that? Why can we not just start games with the full force like we did against West Bromwich Albion? Why can we not do that? And it really, really frustrates me, especially off the back of last weekend where we're all on such a high to then put in a performance like that. But let's be right, guys, that first half mirrored Birmingham today. It really did mirror it, because that first half against Millwall, we were shocking. They didn't have the quality to sort of put us away. Birmingham did in that first half with Shay Adams, who's going to be in the Premier League next season. But, 1-11, I just didn't think we were good enough today. I don't think we deserved anything today. A lot of people are talking about Patrick Bamford, who I'll get onto in a second. But I genuinely don't think we deserved much today. As I say, 1-11, apart from Kiko, who was my man of the match, I didn't think Leeds were at the races. You look at Luke Ayling, I thought out of the bunch he was actually okay. Jansen and Cooper looking shaky. I thought they looked shaky on the ball. I really did. When they had the ball in possession, I didn't think they moved it quick enough from the back into the final third. Normally, they're hitting the strikers, they're hitting midfield within 1 or 2 touches. I thought today it was 3, 4, 5 touches, which needs to improve because Bielsa's style of play with the 3-3-1-3 or the 4-1-4-1 or the 3-5-2, it's quick football. That is how the Bielsa system works. It's quick, pragmatic football, and that has to happen every single time within the channels, all the time, and it wasn't happening today. I thought there was a lack of movement. I thought when the ball got to Bamford, the ball was bouncing off Bamford, and I thought we needed an outlet today. We needed an outlet because Birmingham were applying a lot of pressure on us. There was a narrow pitch and they were packing out the midfield, and the frustrating aspect was it's the exact same thing they did at Ellen Road. They packed out that midfield, they put the high press on Leeds United, they had the defensive back four who were the exact same today. They were solid, and Leeds weren't able to break through that, and it's a worry. It really is, because for me there's too many frequencies of these sort of results. If we want to get that top 2, there has to be an element of consistency in our last 6 games. There has to be. It can't just be sort of win one, draw one, lose one. It can't be that pattern of events. We've got to go on a little bit of a run. And now we're behind Sheffield United once again. We are as we were 2 weeks ago, and we had that crushing defeat against Sheffield United. And it does question the minerals of Leeds. It does. It really does question. A lot of people after that Sheffield United game were thinking, oh, well, it was their worst performance. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that things are not going to twist and turn. I'm not saying that. That is not what I'm saying at all. Me and Joe are going down to Preston on Tuesday. I'm not saying things aren't going to turn. What I am saying is the performances each and every week have to improve. They have to be more consistent. They cannot be like this every single week. And I know they're not, and that's the problem. It's just a continuous pattern of inconsistency. And to get promoted, for me, there has to be some elements of consistency, as I've just said. I've mentioned the QPR, the Stoke, the Birmingham games, and it sort of leads me on nicely because it's the second half performances for Leeds United that seem to improve, and the second half was just as dull as the first. Yes, we created a little bit more chances. I don't get why Alioski goes on left wing. I think he took Harrison off, guys. This is post match. I'm not 100% if he took. I think he took Harrison off. In fact, I'm pretty certain he did. Took Harrison off. Sticks Alioski on the left wing. Why? Why do that? He's not a left winger. Why bring Dallas on? But, Dallas did okay, I guess. Clark came on, didn't really have much to do. Once again, I feel like we've done this past 2 or 3 games. We don't get the ball to him quick enough. He gets doubled up on very, very quickly, does Clark. You can see it. You could see it down that left-hand side with Pedersen and Hotter when he came on. They were doubling up on him. Monk had clearly said, look, double up on this kid because he can cause us problems. He got the ball twice, and one take on he had, but the other one he didn't, and they broke from it. I thought Jacques Magoma for them was a threat throughout. He was a threat to Ayling throughout, but, reverting back to what I was saying, you cannot just rely on a kid. You cannot just rely on the kids, and I feel like we do that quite often. Roberts had a poor game today, but he's 19, 20 years old. You cannot rely on him all the time. You can't rely on him all the time. And for me, that Roof substitution had to be made at half-time. We were shocking up until that 45-minute mark. You've got to bring Roof on at half-time for me, Dallas isn't the substitution. Yes, he played a great ball into Bamford, 100%, but that substitution for Clark, you need to give Clark a little bit more time for me. You know, he likes it when he's got a little bit of space that he can run into. He needs to feel his way into the game a little bit more. We always see that with Jack Clark. It's not almost an instant impact. I even remember that against Derby, against Lowe, their left back, he needed a couple of take-ons to then get into full flow. You know, you need to give him a little bit of time, and sticking him on in the 75th minute, it's evidently not working. We've done it sort of 2 or 3 times now. You either stick him on with enough time to go, or don't stick him on at all, for me. Dallas, I don't understand that substitution. So then essentially you've got 2 full-backs, right-backs and left-backs for the season, really, Dallas and Alioski, who were playing as wingers. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, that, and it didn't work. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a coherent sigh from every single Leeds fan when we saw that substitution board go up and Dallas was coming on. No disrespect to Dallas. I like Dallas. He's industrious and he's consistent for Leeds United, but I don't think he's consistently at the level we need. I don't think he's consistently at the level we need to change a game when we're 1-0 down, for me. And that had to change today. We had to bring a little bit of impetus on, and we didn't do that. Oh, God, breathe. But yeah, you know, and listen, it's not the end of the season. I'm not saying that. And I feel a lot of you jump to that when there's sort of a little bit of criticism on this team. But I feel there was a lot of faults during that game today. A lot of faults. And I think a lot of faults with the manager as well. I genuinely do. The substitutions, I felt, as I've just said, they were too long in the tooth. And I don't understand why the substitutions were made. I really don't. And Bielsa, as much as I adore him, and as much as he has made me have some incredible memories this year, I think sometimes the substitutions I do frown at sometimes, and I think that was paid dividends today. Alioski on that left-hand side, we saw a wonderful ball from Pablo Hernandez into Alioski, spoons it over the top. He's in acres of space, and that's why I don't like Alioski in that position, because he's not composed enough. He doesn't have the IQ of an offensive player. He needs to be in that defensive position coming into the midfield. That's his gap. That's where he is the best at. He's good at overlapping. I'm not saying his final ball's good, and we'll come on to the final ball in a minute, but that's not where Alioski plays. And you could see that when that lovely ball came in, he was in acres of space. Colin was out of position. Pedersen was nowhere to be seen either. You know, neither was Morrison, and he had that chance, and he just spoons it over the bar. Take a touch, strike it across goal like he did in the first game, play someone in. And that was the issue today. It was a lack of composure in front of goal. And how many more times do we need to say that? How many more times do we need to say that? And is that because we've not got enough quality in the side? I don't know. Because we've shown it in bouts this season. We've shown it against West Brom. We've shown it against Derby. We've shown it against Norwich earlier on in the season. We've shown it against Stoke earlier on. We've shown it against Derby. So why can we not show that consistently? Why can we not have that level head in these situations where we need a level head? I move on to Patrick Bamford. He has to score today. He has to score. He really does. That chance where it's pulled back from Dallas, where Dallas actually did really well, give him credit. He did really well to pull that back. He's in a lot of space initially as Bamford. He checks his run, gets that yard of space. Yes, the defender gets in on him, but he's got to hit the target. And these are the chances, you know, people talk about his goal scoring record at the minute. And, you know, I think it's sort of like 6 goals in, it's either 9 or 10, which is a very good return. But for the amount of chances Leeds United create, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. Because he could have had a hat-trick against Reading, he could have had a couple last week, he could have had a couple against Borough, and he should have had 2 again today. And you've got to be burying them. We need a striker. We need a striker there. We need someone to bury our chances, because when Leeds are playing, we're under the cosh. We're not playing great. We need some sort of shithousery. We need a goal like that to go in. And Bamford's got to hit the target. There's 2 occasions there. He hit the post at the start. They went to the other end and scored. You know, he was in acres of space at the start as well when he hit when he hit the post. It was a tough chance to take. It really, really was. But at the end of the day, there's no one around him. He's beaten the offside trap, which he hasn't done these past couple of weeks. He's always been offside, which is sort of the sluggish turn of pace I think he is subject to. But he beat the offside trap and he's hit the post and he's unlucky, but that has to go in. The unlucky is taking me to a certain extent now. Okay, he was unlucky against Reading, he was unlucky against Middlesbrough. They've got to start going in at some point. They really have, and we're at the critical point of the season. We don't want all of this to go to waste. And it's chances like that which we need our striker. We need our number 9 to take. That's what the 7 million was for. I understand there might be a confidence issue, but at the end of the day, that has to go in. It has to go in. And okay, you've missed that chance, but that second chance, you missed the first one, but the next one has to go in. The next one has to go in then. And the next one for me was easier, and he spooned it over the bar where it was harder to get it over the bar than actually on target. You know, the start of the game, Roberts is through. We've done excellently to carve Birmingham's left side open. Pedersen, nowhere to be seen. Morrison, nowhere to be seen. We've done really, really well. You've got Harrison screaming for it in acres of space, like Pablo was with Ayling last week against Millwall. Roberts has just smashed it against goal. He's smashed it for goal with about a 10, 11 degree angle to aim for. Don't understand why you wouldn't play that back. Why wouldn't you play that back? There was Alioski overlapping and there was Harrison there in acres of space. That could have been 1-0 with 2 minutes gone. And it's, man, it's such a frustrating day because they were there to be got at today, Birmingham, but they played the game well. They packed out the midfield. They were good today, Birmingham. I thought they were better than us. They overran us in midfield, which many teams haven't done this season. I feel the implementation of Davis at half-time for Birmingham did wonders. I thought he was strong in that midfield. And the high pressure and the strength against Leeds, we just couldn't cope with it. And you've got to deal with that in the Championship. There's so many players like that in the midfield of every Championship side. And looking at that today, I'm just surprised it hasn't done us before. They were just, and I don't think we deserved anything today. I really don't. You know, those two chances, of course, but then you look at Birmingham's chances. Kiko was excellent today. He was fantastic today. I'm not sure BPF would have made the saves there. And I also thought when the ball was coming to Casilla, I thought he was really excellent under pressure. You know where some keepers would have hoofed it out. Kiko, calm, collected. He had to come out of his box a couple of times to nod the headers, and he always found the play. There was one at the end where he didn't find Alioski. I thought he was exceptional today. For me, his best performance in a Leeds shirt, Kiko, today. And that just shows that they had a fair few chances. Do you know what I mean? Shea Adams, I thought, ran the show today. I thought he was excellent. And it is really frustrating because he's not done that in 5 games, but he does that against Leeds. Of course he does. Steps up his performance, but at the end of the day, we didn't deal with it. Our centre-backs didn't deal with that. So, yeah, it's a real one for me. I just thought today it was one of those where we had to show our minerals. It's a tough game against Birmingham. It's a tough game against Gary Monk. We've lost to them already this season. Go out there, show your minerals, turn it around, get a little bit of revenge on them. We didn't do that, and we've seen that with Leeds for so many years where we just bottle it. And it is the word you'd use today. We have bottled it. I do think we have, because we've not turned up. We've not turned up today. We've not shut. I was speaking to Gary from the Talking Shut podcast earlier on today, and he said to me, if we turn up, we can beat any side in this division. He's completely right, because we can. But we haven't turned up enough for me. In the last 5 or 6 games, we haven't. And it's showing. You know, I thought we looked tired today. And that is a little bit of a worry. You know, we're all saying the same thing about Sheffield United last week. Oh, well, the nerves might be getting to them. And it's premature because we've gone there today. There is still 6 games to go, but there are a lot of tough games in there. We have to start turning up in the first half. That is a given. We have to start. And if we don't do that, we're going to start getting punished because we've got some good teams to play. Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford, Preston, Villa, to name a few. In those last 6. We need to start turning up early. We need to start being on the ball from minute 1. Okay, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like on it if you will, and I'll catch you in a bit.